And since then, the problem, has been the party. And, what more can be amusing for you to point another member of a party as the problem of your own party? Did you see that coming? I'm sure you don't.
Of course, it's not the first time PDP has pointed his fingers to President Bola Ahmed. In fact, I believe Damagum is more like in the corner to President Bola Tinubu. Now, there have been some speculations and rumors that since President Bola Tinubu picked up Wike and made him a minister, of the FCT, that Wike has been working for APC from PDP. And if you know that most members of the NWC are pro-Wike, so it's more like the PDP is in the hands of Wike, and Wike is a boy to Tinubu. So now the boy is in context, so people don't get out of
somebody
context.
Who works for,
so it's indirectly, the president is still in charge of the opposition. And you remember that a lot of people said that is the style of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That was what he did in Lagos. They said that was what he did in Lagos. That he knows how to pocket the opposition, and that is what is also trying to do with the nation.
Will it be right to point accusing figure at him or the opposition who are poor at playing opposition?
I feel
it's like you giving out your ineptitude to say the reason why I'm not forming well is because of my neighbor. It's a shame of you in the first place.
But they are kind of handicapped.
If the guy you are pointing out to say, oh, that's the way he does, then if actually that's what he did in Lagos according to some quarters, then you should be ready to say you won't have that hold on us. Now, everything is pointing out, according to what Segun Sowunmi say, that the president is the architect of their problem, so that their party will not be stable. And so many persons have been talking about having a one-party state because all they are as clueless, as problematic as they can be, but it's a shame for any opposition party to say the president is our problem. That means you guys, you are a bunch of guys that cannot hold your own.
Yeah, I think they need unity.
You play into the hands of the person you're accusing of.
But then, Fabi, we might want to ask the question, what can they do when a majority of the NWC is in the pocket of Wike?
Then they are not
because these are the people that makes the decisions.
What I'm saying is let them stop pointing at President Tinubu. If they have their own problem, let them fix it.
Well, their problem is...
And if they want to, let them disband the party and pick it up again. Eventually, because...
You might want to go tell...
By the way, that would be... I'm telling you. But that's much that we can take from the Punch.
And from the Punch newspaper, we head on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the big, bold headline on the Guardian newspaper is talking about money. Naira plunge stalls FG... State's capital project spikes cost by 75%, which is actually expected. And you can see more details on that is provided on front page of the Guardian newspaper this morning. Cement prices nearly triple. Iron rods hit a record high. MDA struggle to adjust budgets amid exchange rate crisis, and projects face uncertainty as contractors demand reviews. And you can see there that it's a concern, a source of concern, not only for the federal government but also for the states. We might have some states doing less capital projects as it is and focusing more on recurrent expenditure at this time, and this is because of the Naira plunge. And away from that, Senate sacks CCT chairman Danladi Umar. Disco's actions threatening economic stability, reps declare. PDP backs Damagum as LP mobilizes youth for 2027 showdown. NNPC exporting 4.7 million barrels of new crude to Spain, US. I'll take that again. NNPC exporting 4.7 million barrels of new crude to Spain, US. I want to ask the question, the refinery at home, as it had, the adequate crude it needs for refining process? That is the question people might want to ask. But then, it is what it is. FX differential revenue accounts for 21% of 2.6 trillion Naira FARC revenue. and $1 trillion economic drive critical to banishing poverty, says Hamzat. Bills on diaspora voting, mineral exploration funding, scale second reading. And this particular story has ignited controversy on social media. People are wondering if we are actually ready for diaspora voting. We do not really, we cannot say that the voting that is done within home is 100%. In fact, some people believe it's not even 60% perfect. And now we are thinking of diaspora voting, and people think this is a plus for the northern region, because if you're talking about diaspora, people's mind are going to US, UK, other countries, European countries. But what happens to voters from Chad, from Niger,
Mali.
from Mali, from Burkina Faso,
Benin Republic?
They will tell you they are Nigerians in those countries.
Of course, there are Nigerians there.
And when
they are Nigerian.
And when they bring in the figures,
and they are as Nigerian as they can be.
Exactly. And when they bring in the figures, so people there is this distrust. So people feel that we shouldn't have diaspora voting until we get our voting process right.
It's part of the voting process, actually.
So you think we are ready for diaspora voting?
If we want to be sincere, we are. What's in the diaspora voting that we can't handle? Actually, we can. If actually we are ready for it and give it all it takes, because if glitch happen, the one being done internally.
Exactly.
So what
it's going to be electronic voting.
But then these things are achievable and obtainable.
All right, lastly from The Guardian, MDCAN seeks review of consultants' retirement age at 70, unified salary scale. That will be all from The Guardian.
And The Vanguard is next. The Vanguard newspaper, terrorist from Mali, Burkina Faso, in northwest Niger State. Senate acted again from the Vanguard newspaper for today, Thursday, November 21, 2024. Big bold headline. Terrorist from Mali, Burkina Faso in northwest Niger State. I'm not sure, even myself, that I'm not in the Senate. I know because the former governor of that same state, I said it before, and he said they are just like 5 hours away from Abuja. The former governor before Mr. Bago said it. So it's not entirely new. I'm not sure why the Senate is saying that, either as a matter of urgency or it's just regurgitating, Now, with riders, here, task military on early warning mechanism. Defense headquarters, DHQ confirms killing of 5 soldiers in Borno terrorist ambush. Sad one there. And troops neutralize 30 terrorists. We can't say this enough. Go after them. Don't wait to defend yourself or, wage war against them when they come at you. We should go at them. Let them know they cannot rest. This is the way to go around the battle way. And Ayedatiwa deputy gets a certificate of return. Away from that, epileptic power. Reps demand 500 billion naira capital base for discos. All right. Jigawa tanker explosion, 209 killed, 68 hospitalized. A report, remember that sad incident. And Russia-Ukraine war. Kiev fires British Storm Shadow missiles into Russia. It's been a war since yesterday because of the help Ukraine is getting, especially the long-range missiles, and Putin guys are saying the West will have serious consequences if actually they help Ukraine in attacking them at this time. And the US has ratified again that landmines that can be deployed remotely. That access has been given to Ukraine, and they will be supplied the device as well, or devices. And the Kremlin, he's saying, you guys, anybody that have hands in these, you will hear from us, and it will be very serious. The West are saying as well that there are some North Korean soldiers, fighting on behalf of Russia as well. So what right do you have to say all of this? But then, as they say in war, all is fair. But then It's the people that tends to suffer. And on the sporting scene, AFCON 2025 qualifiers, ex-Libyan goalkeeper accuses Nigeria of sabotage. Really? Really, Libya? Okay. And top strip here, 2027, North will be best served by Northerners. ACF, it is what it is. And PDP National Chairman, North Central divided over consensus candidate. Senate sacks CCT Chairman Danladi Umar, and NNPC unveils Uta party crude grade in global market eyes 80,000 barrels per day by 2025. And that will be all from the Vanguard for today.
And from the Vanguard newspaper, we head on to Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Daily Trust newspaper for today. Reps ask discos to raise investment to 500 billion naira. The Daily Trust newspaper. Reps ask discos to raise investment to 500 billion naira or exit, with quadruple right here. Say they are a threat to economic stability, welfare of Nigerians. Liabilities, low capacity fuel call for recapitalization. Lawmakers should demand accountability from electricity toys. This is coming from an expert and discos, mom on all of this. And the picture on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper this morning is that of the Plateau State's cultural troupe entertaining guests at the Second African Military Games 2024 at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. You can see such a celebratory mood there by the troupe. ACF to Tinubu, your economic policies impoverishing Nigerians. That's the Arewa Consultative Forum to presidents in your economic policies impoverishing Nigerians. Senate asks Tinubu to replace Umar as CCT chair over misconduct. And FG sacks UNIZIC Council VC registrar. Several injured as secondary school students clash in Kwara. Top strip Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Terrorists using girls as suicide bombers, sex slaves. This is actually a sad story here, where girls do not have a choice and they are forced into doing the unthinkable, doing horrendous actions, suicide bombing. They use as sex slaves. It's such a sad tale that should get any reasonable thinking government worried and concerned. FGA Max 11 or 112 billion naira. FGA Max 112 billion naira to safeguard schools in 3 years. 209 die from Jigawa tanker explosion. This is coming from Probe Panel. Remember that tanker explosion that happened in Jigawa some weeks ago. And that will be all from Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
And of course, we take this quick break. When we return, we'll be speaking to issues, especially the dust is here to settle. Yes, the governor-elect, who is the incumbent, by the way, who got the certificate of return. And of course, but then it's not just about that. Some presidents are, raising, use the word hell to say that wasn't an election. The the first runner-up rather, rejected the result. That is Abuola Ajayi, former deputy governor and candidate of the PDP, SDP candidate as well, rejected it. There were allegations of gross vote buying. And we'll be looking into that today as well. And there is a petition, and in fact, a case in court against the deputy governor-elect as well, who is the current deputy governor, to say there's discrepancy in his names. And that particular suit was filed by the candidate of the PDP as well. We'll look into all that. Although that case in court, so we won't speak on the merits of the matter. but then trust us to do justice to everything that has to do with the conduct of the just concluded election in Ondo State. Stay with us, we'll be back. You are back, and the conversation right now is about the Sunshine State. The election, goodbye election, was held at the weekend, and the candidate of the APC, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, the incumbent, was declared winner. In that election, and that was done by the umpire, the statutory body, constituted by law to do that. They made that pronouncement. That's INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, and Lucky Orimisan Aiyedatiwa, was returned, elected, having polled, in the excess of 300, and I try and get the correct figure right now, 366,781 to defeat all the other contenders, and his closest challenger, which is Mr. Agbola Ajayi, former deputy governor of that state, who polled 117,845, while ZLP's Dr. Abbas Mimiko came a distant third with 2,062 votes. Some have described the election or the win of Governor Aiyedatiwa as a landslide because, of course, he got almost triple of what his closest challenger got. And, that Lucky Aiyedatiwa of the APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected, and he won 18-0, all the local government in Ondo State. That's what has been described as a landslide. But then it's not just about that. We'll look at the process of that election that produced, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, because on the day, observers, reports, and our own correspondent that were around there, Western Spring Television correspondent and River FM correspondent, reported what was on ground in many of the local governments that they visited. And they said, granted, violence wasn't a thing, although there are skirmishes, gunshots somewhere, but you wouldn't describe that election as a violent one at all. But then there is another elephant in the room, and we'll get into that as well. But we have today with us virtually the director of media and publicity of the winning party in that state, that's the APC, Mr. Steve Otaloro. He joins us this morning. Good morning, Mr. Otaloro.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. We had you before in the days leading to that election to speak on it, the preparation of your party. You spoke about your chances, and maybe you are right. After all, your party has won. But then I need you to give us an assessment of the process. It's no more news. Your principal, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has been announced as the governor-elect. Of course, is the governor there, incumbent governor as well. But, as a son of the soil, not just as a party man, How will you describe the election that happened on Saturday?
Thank you very much. All the local and foreign observer have described it succinctly. I think I would rather want to quote them than me giving my own personal assessment that you might still consider biased.
Okay.
They said this is one of the best elections ever conducted by INEC. You know, it was devoid of violence, devoid of the normal rigging styles. You know, they were shocked. You know, they coming from that of Edo, they were looking at, they have that at the back of their mind. If there will be an improvement, it will be slight improvement, but they saw a massive improvement from that of Edo. This election was free, fair, credible. And a lot of people are giving pass mark to INEC, and if they could sustain this momentum going into other elections, I think it will be wonderful. Then gradually we are going into that era whereby we can say that elections in Nigeria is something to write home about, has been credible. So that at the end of the day, whoever emerges as winner will be seen from the perspective of the electorate, rather than some manipulations here and there. But one thing I will equally say is that this election was not 100%, but at least it was far, far above average. And in all assessment, the vote reflected what is in the states, you know, and it's a slight improvement from the last one. That is the last election conducted in the state, the last governorship election conducted in the state. So all the stakeholders said, by our standard, this is a fair election. And I want to go by that standard as well, to describing, you know, summarizing the entire thing.
All right. You know, fair enough to say you're pitching your tent. You rather pitch your tent with what elections observers have talked about, and which is free, fair, and credible, you know, using your own words. But then, you know, because of time, let's just get straight into it. There are facts that cannot, you know, be altered. Agbola, I mean, your candidate, that's your principal, Loke Aiyedatiwa, won in all the local governments. Even led to defeat the candidate of the PDP in his own local government. Of course, it's part of the local government there. And the INEC as well, which is the umpire, many persons as I judge them to say, okay, they did their best. But the candidate of the PDP, that's Agbola Ajayi, has rejected the result of that election, saying, in his words, INEC is compromised, you know, and they said the security agencies, of course, were compromised in the election and urged the chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to resign. You know, Ajayi, he voted at Unit 4, Ward 2, Idumado, in Kiribo, SL, local government area, expressed displeasure at the conduct of that election. He said it took more than 10 minutes, you know, for the INEC givers to capture him. And now these were his words. The system is not perfect, and there are lots of complainants here and there. If INEC cannot successfully organize an election in just one state, then you must know that we are running into anarchy. I think it's deliberate on the part of the INEC, and that's what Mr. Otalo, he said. I think that's Mr. Ajayi. I think it is deliberate on the part of the INEC, on the part of the Resident Electoral Commission, REC, and we have said several times that we don't trust Oluwatoyin Babalola, that's the REC, that this woman cannot be fair. The system is compromised, and we have a series of calls made by everybody. People are complaining about vote buying. The Beavers problem, it is a very shameful exercise. He said, I think people should call on the INEC chairman to resign if he cannot do the job. He should just resign. It is totally compromised. This is sad, and Nigerians are not happy. Here, it is peaceful to some extent. These are the words of the main challenger, Agbola Ajayi, as well. And he's one man that people should know that he knows what he's saying. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that can be true that he knows what he's saying. That is a reflection of him losing not only his local government, but his ward as well. He narrowly won his polling unit That's a reaction from such man. What do you expect? How many politicians have lost election and came forward to say this election is perfect? When politicians react, you have to look at critically what the observers are saying. Was there anything that looks alike in all the local and foreign observers? What they said about this election? So naturally, you are expecting a reaction, a fierce reaction. For a man that lost everything, this is the first time in the history of Ondo State. When the days of Awolowo, we still have strong opposition when some local government in Ondo State, the NPN of this world, when the UPN will still win, they will still win some local government. But this is the first time an opposition political party will be losing everything. Before this election, we're having 51 local government, that is LCDA, 33 LCDA, and 18 local government. They lost everything. You think such man will react well? That reaction suggests that he doesn't know what he's saying. Because what he's saying is not what the observers are saying. What he's saying is not what's on ground. What's on ground clearly shows that the opposition lost that completely. So if he, instead of coming up to congratulate the winning candidate, he's only reacting to justify his earlier claim that this woman, that is the INEC rec chair in Ondo State, Oluwatoyin, did not conduct her election. At the end of the day, that woman was vindicated because she did not only conduct that election well, she conducted one of the most fair, the freest election in history of Ondo State.
Mr. Otaloro, it wasn't only Mr. Agbola Ajayi, Honorable Agbola Ajayi, that lost and complained. The SDP as a party as well has rejected that result as well. That's Mr. Gbenga Akibole, the chairman. He denounced the election and alleged widespread harassment and intimidation of the party's agents. So it's not just about Agbola Ajayi.
Thank you very much. You just said another sore loser.
Sore loser.
This is a man that won just 438 votes in the entire state. 438 votes in the entire state. If such men are coming forward as well to test this election, it's understandable because he equally lost woefully. He lost everything, including his politics, his ward, and his local government, and the entire local government in the state. So if Akingboye is saying that as well, well and good. We told him, we responded to what he said. Right. Because in his response, he was even asking INEC to declare him winner. He came 16 in that election. 16 out of 17 candidates. He came 16. Was asking INEC to declare him winner. That was what he said. Declare you winner? It's laughable. What did we told him? Instead of you rushing to the press conference, why don't you just prepare your suite and go to court? If people will be waiting for you, will be able to receive it. See, when politicians, please let's not give too much credence to all these reactions from politicians. Listen to observers, listen to your reporter that was on ground.
You're a politician yourself. You're a politician yourself, and we are listening to you.
Yes, I know. But when we devote too much time to their reaction, it's people who are not aware how this election went down will be thinking it was marked by violence and not what you're saying, which is not true.
All right.
This election was very, very fair, credible, and we can all see the result at the end of the day. We as a political party, we are not shocked that we won all the 18 government, but we didn't believe it could be this massive because we knew there were no ground for that election. None of them. All
right, Mr. Otaloro.
Gladiators have moved into our party.
All right, Mr. Otaloro, I should first say congratulations to you and your party. If you can hear me, Mr. Otaloro. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, so I was saying that I should congratulate you and your party on your victory, the election that happened on November 16. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, while you were speaking, you said we should not listen to political, because they are politicians, that we should listen to observers, we should, listen to our reporters who were on ground for the election. Now, taking up the reports by our reporters, it was said that this particular election, yes, there might not have been violence, but it was hugely characterized by vote buying. In fact, we saw videos of people confessing to how much exchanged hands, between the buyers and the sellers. We heard that your party also, provided money for that election, and you know that is a crime. When it comes to election process, vote buying, vote selling is a crime. First, I'd like to ask you the question: how much did your party provide per voter? How much did it go for?
It's like you've concluded.
I'm asking you a question, really. I want to know how much exchange.
We're asking you a question based on our report, because we have report.
No, but let me go on. It's an accusation maybe based on what some of the election observers actually said that some people were buying votes. We had that equally. And we even had it on one of the national TV that some people said they received money. You see, we are the party to beat in this election. And there's no way we could be sent to that level to give money when we are the party to beat. It is those people who are competing with us that will use every other tricks, to get there. But as a leading political party, we in the whole of Ondo State, we are more than 85% in terms of being the biggest. So we just have remnants of other political parties. Why should we induce electorates? So many things to do. The inducement we gave to the electorate.
Now, I am going by the reports.
Is the promise of the government.
Of our reporters that were on ground. You said we should listen to them. I'm not taking the words of politicians now. I'm, listening to our reporters who were live on ground for the election. And, we sought to high, or should I say, office holders in the APC, people who held offices in the different wards in APC. Some of them confessed to, how much exchanged hands, and you're saying your party was not involved?
We spoke with APC.
I'm sure you must have seen the videos.
It should be apprehended by now. I saw the video. We saw the video of a guy that was apprehended with lots of money. We are expecting the outcome of the DSS. They arrested him. Who sent him? He's from what political party? We looked at that guy very well. He's not from our political party. We don't know him from Adam. That's no reason we said DSS should come up with their finding in the report of their investigation. So, we're equally interested.
Okay.
Anything that will bring this report to an election will be testing with all ramifications. We're interested. We are an interested party as well, because we believe if he had had his way, he is going to cheat us out of our numbers of votes. And maybe some people had their way. That was why we had the lesser vote we had. It could have been more. That's our own expectation. So in order to guide against the next election, all those who have been apprehended should be brought to book. They should be tried. And your reporter that said he witnessed such things should be able to tell you which of the political parties involved. Definitely.
And I'm telling you that it was APC that was mentioned. Your party was also mentioned.
By your reporter?
Yes, your party was mentioned.
That can be true. As the spokesperson of the party, I'm not aware I saw your reporter. If your reporter got such issue, he should be able to consult the people in charge, the spokesperson of the party, not the chairman and other party officers. He should be able to confirm. You see, there are moles. I can't rule out the fact that there are moles in this election. A lot of moles were sent to our political party to monitor us. Some of our strategies, before we know, we heard from the other hand that...
Mr. Otaloro, you mean most that were sent to your party to monitor, or most that were sent to your party to spend money on your behalf?
Yes, this is election. It's very tricky. There are so many things involved. We are aware of those moves. We are very much aware. And if anybody is posing as an APC person, you should be able to cross-check from party officials.
Mr.
Maybe these are moves sent to our party.
We would play you, some of the clips so that, in the course of this program, we'll play some of the clips so that you can get the first-hand information. And this is not from an outside media outfit. It's from our correspondents who were live on ground for that election. In the course of this program, definitely back-end guys would, bring it up, and we would have you also, hear it with your own ears and see it with your own eyes, what went down that day. But what you're saying emphatically now is that your party never gave out any money. You never bought votes. You didn't, get votes from those voters via money, via trading.
Yeah. Immediately after that election, the first interview the governor had, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, had with one of the national TV stations. Let me reiterate what he said. He said he never asked anybody to give money on his behalf. He never, as a candidate, asked anyone to distribute money on his behalf. And that same statement I'm lashing on. If the candidate is able to say that he had never asked anyone, the political party that I represent as well, I'm saying this, we never distribute any dime to anyone on an election we are winning. On this election, there are things you do, there are things you don't do. We don't do things that will jeopardize our position. We are on the winning streak. We are back to back. We've been winning election in Ondo State, and there's no such thing. If oppositions are coming up to say this, or obstacles are coming up to say this, they should be able to investigate further.
All right.
Who is the political party behind this?
Is it possible that many well-wishers of your party or your candidate maybe, tried to do that on behalf of your party, even though they were not sent? Is that a possibility?
Anyone that indulges in such things should be apprehended. The governor just told you, we never asked anybody. He never asked anyone to distribute money on his behalf.
But many of the electorate confess to collecting money.
No, just listen. There are things you don't do on election day. There are things you don't do. It contravenes the law. All right. Why will anybody distribute money? If anyone does that, he should be apprehended. We didn't ask anyone to do that. And by the way, why should we ask anyone to do that if we are not doing that ourselves? That is extremely against the law. It brings disrepute to an election. All right. And not the one we are bound to win. And which we've won.
Yeah, Mr. Otaloro, one of the clips we're talking about, you get to see right now, a reporter was there, and this was gotten from PU 006, Uso Emurele, or local government. Just take a look.
Today now 5,000 and pay for this issue. All now 5,000 naira. Nobody.
At this time, residents of Ondo State have cast their votes, and in several of the polling units where.
All right. That is one of many. This is not to demonize, but it's just to have. I'm sure, Mr. Otaloro, you will. Especially as an elder, you will be proud of having an electoral process that is free, fair, and credible. I'm sure that will be your pride, as my pride, as anyone's pride as well. So this is not just castigate any party, but it's just to speak to us having a democracy that is fully fledged, and the kind of victory that the winner will be able to say, yes, I got this from the support of my people, not the ones that are tainted by all these allegations. And that is just one of many. How do you react to that?
Well, that's the wish of all Nigerians. We see this as a nascent democracy. We hope it will grow to a level whereby you can even, before the election, cast your votes. Yeah. That's our prayer. There is what's the essence of democracy whereby the electoral process is fraudulent? Whoever emerges through that process can be said to be credible. That is not a legitimate government. And we hope we'll get there. But gradually we are moving forward. Hitherto, we see whereby ballots are snatched and snuffed with cast already printed votes. That we've gone behind now. The only thing that is people keep talking about is this inducement of electorate. We will get past it, and the electorate themselves, that is part of the voters' education we gave. That some people might want to give you money. Some of them said, we'll collect it. I said, don't collect it. Expose such people. You see?
All right. Are you still with us, Mr. Otaloro? All right. We're trying to reconnect, with him, because actually he hasn't spoken to that particular video. I will ask him to do that as well, You know what they say, Evelyn, about victory being sweet. And of course, it's very sweet. But it's sweeter when the process that has produced you might be tough. But then, it's free, it's fair and credible. And then you will, it has a way of rubbing on the governance and the leadership, because you can look at anybody in the face and you tell them, I didn't bribe any of you. This is the trajectory of my, policy, and that's how it will be, because you have no fear. Nobody will be able to text you and say, Governor, you know what you've done? I can just raise this, and there will be blackmail. And this is what happens. It is about democracy and having a smooth process, because at least the way it looks now, it looks like the ends justify the means. Anyhow you get there, doesn't matter. Just emerge, and this is what you are seeing.
Yeah, Fabi, I agree with you. And, they always say that in the spirit of sportsmanship, you should accept defeat. In the spirit of sportsmanship. But I want to go into sports. Sports have rules. They have, guidelines. Yeah. And that's why even when someone is defeated in sports, he or she takes it in good stride and says, okay, I've done my best, I've done my bit, but this other person is a better contender. And so congratulations.
Shots are even exchanged.
When the rules are not followed, when the guidelines are skewed just to favor someone else, then we shouldn't be saying in the spirit of sportsmanship. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel our electoral process, our electoral process should be more credible. Like you said, it's not just about people voting and a winner emerging. The process that brought out this person, how credible is it? How transparent is it? How open is it? These are the things we should focus on. And I believe these are the things the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, should focus on. What does he really want his legacy to be when he leaves that office? Does he want people to say, oh, there was a time we had an INEC boss who was at the helm of affairs and things went on smoothly? Remember what happened in the 2023 elections? Till today, people still believe that election, is the worst we've had since 1999, although there might be some other, some other options from other people. But some people believe 2023 people really wanted to vote, but so many people, the process was against them. So I believe Professor Mahmood Yakubu has the more chance to write his name in gold, but ensuring that electoral process are free, fair, open, and without any bias.
Right. I agree with you completely, and other stakeholders as well, because the security agencies are part of the process, the electorate are part of the process, the politicians themselves, who we heap all kind of pressure, they are part of the process as well. So every stakeholder needs to do that. But then this conversation is not yet over. We'll continue, but that will be after this break. Stay with us.
Did you know that it's against the law to trade endangered species in Nigeria? Did you know that animals like pangolins, crocodiles, sea turtles, and many more should not be hunted, bought, or sold? The best thing for them and the safest thing for us is to leave them to play their role in their natural habitat. Say no to illegal bushmeat. Keep them wild. Keep us safe.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to globally arising happenings to the hot news to be sweet posts. Even the ocean. Vast. This box affair. Wind sevens, the fleet bottom fire. Station lovers, no decide as it is. Except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West. And Western Spring Television is all the systems that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190.
Now 5,000 for this. Now 5,000. Nobody.
At this time, resident.
All right, that was the clip we played earlier, and it's one of many done by our own people, correspondents who are on ground. And it's good that we have Mr. Steve Otaloro with us again. Can you hear us, sir?
I'm very much with you.
All right, yeah. I mean, you saw that clip before the disconnection, and now we've played it again. How do you react to that?
Well, like the woman said, you see, it's one thing to induce voters. It's another thing to receive such inducement.
Okay.
The fact that she is even laying claim to have received bribe, before voting itself, it's a crime. She's as liable as the one giving it. And she's saying that with all excitement. That's even the problem itself. Those are the things that we think INEC should equally make it possible that whoever is receiving inducement should equally be liable. As a political party, I told you, we detest anything that will bring disrepute to an election, this election or any election for that matter. We've said it for the opt-in time. I'm saying it again. We never, APC on those states, never distribute any money. We didn't distribute any dime.
All right, we have to play that video because the said woman, the name is there, and it's on our social media pages as well. That PU0062 or Emurele or local government area identified herself as an APC woman leader. That is why we are playing it, so that you react to that as well. It's not just about the persons collected, it's about the party officials that are confirming that, yes, this is what we did, and this is how much the people collected.
See, that's not a party official. That can be a party official, definitely.
Oh, wow.
He's an electorate. He can be a party official.
An official can be an electorate as well.
If he claims to be a party official, that's one of the modes we are talking about. People who are asked so that to do some such ash job, so that they can bring disrepute to this credible election. How will anybody, even in the first place, would be so excited to say they distributed so amount of money?
Because it was brazenly done, Mr. Otaloro, this vote buying thing, and across all parties, the observers returned their reports, our correspondent returned our reports, other media channel as well, returned a report to say what happened in Edo was a child's play. Maybe it was the way it was hidden, but in Ondo State, it was done across board from party A to party Z, at least the big ones, and it was so openly done. The people spoke to it, and they were not even shying away. The angels didn't spend money. The angels didn't come to distribute money. It was people who gave it to people, and they are politicians. That's what we are speaking to.
We're interested in the outcome of those investigations as well. That's all I'll say for now. Right. We want that to be investigated. The journalists that witnesses such things could as well do the country a great favor by investigating deeper and know who are behind this. At the end of the day, nowhere will the name of APC come up.
You are sure?
100%.
Okay.
Very sure. I will not come on this program to say it's the opposition, because we are only focused on our election.
We just have to say that
we are not aware anyone disputed money. But thereafter the election, we had these stories.
Okay.
And it's of great concern to us.
Mr. Otaloro, are you saying with your status as a politician, with your status as the Director of Media and Publicity and with your status in Ondo politics, you are saying on election day, you didn't hear the report of vote buying? Is that what you're saying?
On the day of that election,
yes.
I was at the situation room, APC situation room in Akure. I didn't even go to my village any longer. And we are monitored everything that transpired, all the 18 local governments.
And no report came to you that there was serious cases of vote buying?
No one came to us to say there were distribution. But we could see, we're watching TV as well. I'm not disputing the fact that there were these allegations. But all we are interested is it should have been investigated further. When you get someone, you apprehend someone, you should be able to tell, you should be able to ask for who gave you this money? Which political party do you belong to? And if you are not even doing that on the day of election, by now that's report supposed to have been out. That's what we're saying.
That's exactly what we did. You know, our own role as media, of course, you are part of us as well, is the fact that we report it, we say it as it is. The woman gave her name, she confessed to how much was shared, and she identified herself as an APC woman leader. But you said, in as much that is what she has confessed to, then that means she's a mole.
Excuse me, let us look at this from this perspective.
Yeah.
Let's be clear about this. I just told you about their moles. You didn't want to.
No, you said anybody that did it in the APC is a mole.
There is no way. Listen, there is no way a party official will exposing his political party in that manner.
So you are saying the woman shouldn't have confessed?
If she's not a mole, she is not a member of our political party. I wish I could look at her more critically. But I said, if she's making that confession, by now she has to have been behind bar. Why is she wrong? Why is she still walking the street?
All right, Mr. Otaloro, what about this? What of in the situation where these people do not know it's a crime? Probably the education on vote buying and vote selling being a crime has not really permeated through Ondo State, probably Nigeria at large, because the woman was not the only one that confessed to, accepting money for our votes. There were a lot of people also that confessed to accept, and they said it with all excitement, like you said, all excitement, all confidence, and they were just so open about it. Have you thought about it in that light, that probably there have not been enough awareness and education on vote buying and selling being a crime?
Even as a woman leader, there's no way you could rise to that position and you say you don't know certain things. As a woman mobilizer, a woman leader, she called herself. There's no way. Even illiterates are very cautious when it comes to telling people we receive money. We saw that on TV, an illiterate woman in one of the villages saying to receive money. At the book, we all saw her, in which our younger daughter cautioned her. Even as an illiterate, she was very cautious. But a literate person coming on TV to say she received money with all excitement, she's a mole. She's a mole. And the police need to do their job. The DSS needs to do their job.
Right.
If we didn't apprehend this kind of people, then we will continue to suffer this kind of problem. That's just our concern. But I can tell you categorically, whoever distribute money didn't distribute that money on behalf of our candidate, not on behalf of our party. Whoever does that is doing that on his or her own behalf. And we should be apprehended as well.
Okay.
Such people.
All right, Mr. Otaloro, there are also concerns by, well-meaning Nigerian civil society organizations that the politicians, you people, your likes, have weaponized poverty for, situations like this, so that when election comes, 5,000, 10,000, in fact, 2,000 means something to someone somewhere in a particular village or town. How do you react to the allegations that politicians like yourself will not do what they are supposed to do while in office, will not provide the people with the basic necessities of life, so that they can weaponize poverty when election comes?
Let me be clear on this.
Yes.
No government deliberately weaponize poverty. No government.
You think so?
There might be challenges here and there. It's understandable. But to say deliberately That can't be true. And just like a father, no father will be happy that his poor and his children are finding it difficult to feed. There's no way he will sleep at night.
But Mr. Tolara, we have seen politicians who feed fat on, chicken and goat meat. This is an illustration now. While the children get crumbs and they are not even bothered. In fact, some of them, their children goes to bed without food at night and they are not even bothered. Because we have seen government that their own salaries, their own emoluments are not stopped. They get their allowances as and when due, but we see them, all workers, months and months of salaries. Do you think those fathers are not deliberate about weaponizing poverty?
No, sister, it's not deliberate. There might be challenges, economic challenges all over the world.
That is not affecting them. It's not affecting them.
You ask me a question, you have to let me answer you.
Okay, go ahead.
The word deliberate is what I'm finding difficult to agree with here. It's not as if there are no challenges. It's not as if things doesn't look difficult. But you will still see the determination of that same government to work things out. Most of his policies and program might not be in the right direction, though. But that doesn't mean it's deliberate. Such administration was deliberate about it. And if you want to look at what is happening in Ondo State, for instance, now, you see, that's why we always have election. If any government is not doing up to expectation, the people have 4 more years to do the needful. They could even recall, any of the legislature involved in such thing. So this democracy has been designed in such a way that no one has absolute power to do or undo. So the people will always have to revert back to the electorate, because there's the best you could get is 4 years. Then after you still come back to these same people that you are not giving them the best, they will vote you out. That's why we are so concerned about the electoral process. The most important thing in any democracy is the electoral process. If most of the countries have gotten it right, we always find good leaders. The leadership will always be the best, in the sense that they know they will always come back to them to revalidate their continuity in office. So the word deliberate should be out of it. There can't be any government, no matter how bad that government is, that would deliberately want to weaponize poverty in order to get to hold grip of the people. No, that can't be possible. I didn't see that.
Anyway,
and not with this administration of Lucky Aiyedatiwa that is doing so much for the people. And that's why we have won overwhelmingly, convincingly, that the opposition could not even have anything to say. And what they're just saying is laughable. All their excuses is laughable. That's the truth.
But
what is the percentage? Nobody come close to us.
Okay.
In terms of percentage.
All right. Mr. Tolara, how do you react to another speculation that there was an elite consensus agreement that Mr. Lucky Aiyedatiwa should clinch the seat because he only has, 1 term to go, especially with that amendment of the bill, the law passed during Muhammadu Buhari's administration, that a deputy that completes the tenure of a deceased or impeached governor or president only has the opportunity for 1 more term in office, because they believe Lucky Aiyedatiwa just has 4 more years to go. After then, another person comes on board.
You see, whatever the elites are deciding, the electorates are not part of that decision at all time. It is all the elites that will decide. It is the electorate that will ratify whatever decision they take.
You don't think the elites have the influence?
No, not as much.
Decision of the electorate.
You have your vote. If it is one man to a vote, you can't really say such influence will go around. But what you ask, let me answer that question.
Okay.
I won't deny the fact that there are some people raising such argument, and they are raising it because they are interested in the governorship position, especially people from the Central Senatorial District. They thought after not had it with Akeredolu, now it's going to the Southern Senatorial District, and the next time it will come to the Central Senatorial District, they'll be raising that argument. And recently, they came up with a new argument, especially the Akure main. We see all these things on social media. It's not something as a political party we've sat down to entertain. And by the way, nobody even knows that this governor will not have a second shot. Nobody will, such that has not been tested before. So who says he's not going to have the opportunity to go second time?
Well,
that is something the lawyers
there is a lot
at.
to that. Except
That's what you said. There will always be a lot to everything. But we've seen a situation whereby they said a sitting president and staff governor could not be tried. Yes, it could not be tried, but it could be answered to some of the charges. And eventually you are trying such person. You see, the way that people circumvent the law. But in as much as this one has not been tried before, we've not had it before, this probably will be the first time that we want to test it.
Yeah.
When we get to the bridge, we know how to cross it. But that's by the way. But whoever is in 2020, what now? The next election shouldn't come up with this kind of argument. That is not true. There's no, the party never discussed anything. This man is the deputy governor already. And any deputy governor will have such ambition.
All right.
To take over from his boss. That is what he just did.
Mr. Otto.
Not that he has an understanding with any of the other senatorial districts that haven't completed 4 years in office. The next senatorial district will come to play. And what is the benefit of his own people if he's not having the full 8 years in office? Are you saying they'll be happy that their son, Elijah people are? This is the first time we have an Elijah person at the end of Afia in Ondo State.
There are other persons and voting blocks in Ondo State as well who deserve to be governor, apart from Elijah people. So I'm not sure.
No, Ondo State is a peculiar
I'm not sure
state.
that's a right.
No, that's it. You need to listen. This is Southern Senatorial District. We have about 6 local government in each of the senatorial districts. After this is the first time the governorship position will be returning to that zone.
But is there a rotational policy? Is there an agreement to rotation?
No, somehow it is in Ondo State. It is. And if you look at the trend, the trajectory of how we've been having our governors, it's always like that. It has always been like that. Maybe because it was from the central, he's from the central senatorial district. He had 8 years. He went to the northern senatorial district. This president will be completing his 8 years. Naturally, nothing could stop it.
All right.
That's why all the contestants in that election came from the southern senatorial district. Are you saying they will just be comfortable for 4 years?
Although
and after 4 years, you come back to central senatorial district?
I get what you're saying, but then, his performance will determine either he will be brought back or not. Actually, it's about performance, isn't it? It should be about performance, not just about consensus.
He has started well.
Okay, all right. As you're saying, apart from the senatorial district thing and all of these things, the Elijah people have a shot right now. 4 years ago, the Akura people think it could have been a Ita or Jagade as well, but it is what it is at this time. But then, moving ahead, are you bothered?
Let me answer to that.
Yeah.
You raised some questions. It's good to let me.
Yeah, it's lots of time, but please go ahead.
It wouldn't have been a Ita or Jagade in any way. PDP are not in trend, trying not to go by what is going. They just believe the most popular person in their political party is Ita or Jagade. There's no way the northern senatorial district and the southern senatorial district will allow for that.
All right.
For you to break that transition. There's no way. That was why he lost. And lost woefully. It's
all right. Many persons might disagree, by the way. But then, as we round off, are you bothered that, I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, that more than 2-point-something million people were eligible voters and less than 500,000 were the ones who decided the fate and the trajectory of this election. Are you bothered? Maybe you could have had more.
Well, you see, before now, we're saying those registered voters at the INEC portal should be revisited. There are a lot of people up till now that could not get their voting card. A lot of people up till now are not in that portal. We have even lesser people who have voted, who have registered. So there's a need for update.
All right.
If it's not complete overhauling of the whole entire voters register in Nigeria.
I have to say that because many persons believe a state, educated people like Ondo State, you have at least more than 1,366,000 for Lucky Idatiwa 117 for, Agbola Ajayi, and the others were in tidbit. Less than 500,000. So is it like the people are angry to come out? What are you talking about against Aida Tiwa? Or they are not politically inclined enough to show seriousness to what is really important?
I want to let you look at the problem from the scratch. You see, you're looking at the surface. It is not by education. It is not by education. That's not true. You see, there's fundamental issues regarding the register itself.
Which is?
That needed to be addressed. And until they address this, you will continue to get figures like this. And if you look at the past figures, they've not exceeded it. The voting trend in Ondo State has always been between 700 and 800,000, even when we have about 2 point something in that register.
Yeah.
Something must be wrong with that register. And one part of what we think is wrong with that register is the fact that a lot of people have not received their card up till now.
All right.
A lot of people supposed to be in that register. They are not there. These are people that needed to be recaptured. Some people lost their registration card. So many things is extremely wrong with it.
All right.
And it doesn't have to be until you have that card before you voted. They should make it seamlessly in a way that you can come and vote without necessarily showing that card. Just show any form of identity.
All right. That would be a constitutional.
That's to look at, not as a political party.
All right, that would be a constitutional thing, by the way, so that people can get to vote anywhere they get, which is in the pipeline. Many persons are calling for that as well. And I take this as your parting shot. A date has been fixed, and about the case raised by the PDP candidate against the deputy governor. They say there are discrepancies. Are you bothered? I don't want us to talk about the merit of the matter because it's in court. But are you bothered that if actually you have gotten it through the polls, you might lose it through the courts if the things doesn't go the way of the deputy governor?
Let me be sincere with you. We are not.
Because of the discrepancies, alleged about his names.
This is a man.
Because it has happened before. You remember the Bayelsa situation?
This is a man that was, due diligence was done on him before he was accepted as deputy governor by the governor. He's a former deputy clerk of the House of Representatives, was there. He's a well-known civil servant. He has served this country so well that there's no blemish on him. Politicians will always find a way to find faults.
All right.
You lost an election. You are not raising this issue before the election. Now you lost an election. You are looking for a way to corner, the position. Let them go to court. We're not bothered.
They are there already.
We're not bothered. This one did all this. He has all his name intact.
All right.
We'll get to the court. We
yes, we should go, Mr. Otaloro. I want to sincerely thank you, on this matter. And we wish you and the good people of Ondo State all the best. And, having a democratically entrenched, space, having the kind of governance that the people truly deserve. And we hope, Governor Loke will deliver that to the Sunshine State. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thank you. That will be the size of the program. Evening, we have to go.
Of course, we have to go, Femi. Ensure to watch or, catch this particular edition on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. Connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Western Spring Television. So we'll come your way again tomorrow for the TGIF edition. My name is Evelyn Okiola. Remember that Spring Trends comes right after this broadcast. By the way, it's celebration mood right here in the studios today. 2 years ago, specifically 2022, the very first program on Western Spring Television kicked off. And today, 21st of November, 2024, we are 2 years. How do you feel, Femi?
Very, very good, very proud. And I'm sure everybody, the management, the staff, the chief executive, everybody should be proud of how far we've come. And by the way, maybe we should rub it in again. We are the best TV station. NUJ Awards for 2024. So you see what we have been able to do in 2 years because you are supporting us. Thank you. And of course, trust us to do this in our own way. And, maybe click some glasses.
Yeah.
That will be after now.
After the show.
Born 16th September 1923, named Harry Lee Kuan and known as Lee Kuan Yew, he was often addressed by his initials of LKY. Lee Kuan Yew was a barrister and the first Prime Minister of Singapore between 1959 and 1990. Educated at Raffles Institution from 1936 to 1940 and the Fitzwilliam House between 1947 and 1949, Lee Kuan Yew established a highly effective and anti-corrupt governance system that midwifed the transformation of Singapore into a high net worth income economy within a generation. He never hid his exception to Western mode democratic ideal, which he believed had not assisted developing nations to attain good government. Before his death on 23rd March 2015, the People's Action Party, which he founded, had used his political influence to establish the United World College of Southeast Asia to expand his economic ideas among countries that constitute the Asian Tiger. Western Spring Television identifies Lee Kuan Yew as a major character in history.
Can you imagine the feeling when you get your news as they break with facts and clarity? Our news are reported as it is.
Africa and all who mandate it happen. You have a
Enjoy Western programs projecting culture and tradition to the world. Produced and brought to you in a unique way in
Western Spring and Western Spring Television.
Television is coming home in your color and culture.
Here in South Africa, there is still a healthy population of lions, contributing to tourism and creating thousands of jobs. Sadly, in Nigeria, we have less than 50 lions left in Imagine we the number and call a wildlife tourist destination. So let's protect our cause Pokemon.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time. With more than 100 million copies sold. The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of a Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Since assuming the mantle of leadership in Osun, the state of the Living Spring, Governor Ademola Adeleke has left no one in doubt about his avowed commitment to the overall development of the state. The footprints of his transformative agenda span through education, transportation, health, staff welfare, social infrastructure, and others. Living Spring Update, a weekly diary on 91.7 FM and Western Spring Television, Channel 190 Time City, will lecture Governor Adeleke's development for your need and viewing pleasure. From the bustling market to innovative agricultural initiatives, from the testimonies of civil servants and retirees to the cheers of artisans across the state of the Living Spring, you will discover how Governor Adeleke's administration is driving the economic goals of the state. Stay informed and engaged with Living Spring Update, where we will detail our infrastructure projects, new initiatives in health education, and other impactful strides being made across the state. Every day on Spring Television at 6 p.m. and every Saturday on Rave 91.7 FM at exactly 2:30 p.m. You can follow us on all our social media platforms at Western Spring Television and at Rave 917 FM as we tell the story of how Governor Adeleke is shaping Osun into the beacon of development and opportunity.
Living Spring Update is a production of the Office of the Spokesperson to the Governor, Governor's Office, Osogbo.
Television gives everyone an image, but radio gives birth to a million images in a million brains. People say video killed the radio star, but here in Osun State, radio it is about to tap into endless possibilities of the human imagination.
Welcome to Rave 91.7 FM, where the air is live to symphony of voices, music, and
So in the heart of Osogbo, this station is broadcaster. It's a storyteller, a magician, even a mind of listeners, spending on aptly radio, also playing out greater words with every spoken and
in FM. The magic happens from the cracking of many talk shows to the soul-stirring melodies of playlist. Every moment is an invitation to explore, to dream, and to connect.
Whether it's news, music, or lively discussions, Rave 91.7 FM is more than just a radio station. It's a companion, a confidant, and a catalyst for change in the community. Fast 4 years without the Rave 97 FM, beyond all and find ourselves just a couple of days away from our television, WST, with a pearl WST speaks directly to the audience and a T40 mix of Yoruba and English languages, ensuring that everyone feels represented and included.
Built on a tested and trusted system, USTV upholds the value of truth and integrity, serving as a beacon of objectivity in a sea of media noise.
We reflect on the journey brought here for humans through a trusted source of information and inspiration. WSTV stands as a testament to the power of media to inform, educate, and empower. So join us as we continue to break barriers, challenge norms, and pave the way for a brighter, more inclusive media landscape. Western Spring Television, where every matter and every voice is heard.
It's hot.
I know we all love meat. That's some serious goat meat. Goat meat, chicken meat, cow meat, and pomo. Because some of you think that because I'm doing this advert, I don't eat meat, I eat meat. But not all meat is good for consumption. Pangolins? No. Monkeys? No. Crocodiles? No. Snakes? No. If we continue to eat them, they'll disappear. So please, say no to illegal bushmeat. Because protecting nature protects all of us. All of this?
Hello, Welcome on board to another edition of Spring Trends right here on Western Spring Television. And this edition is truly, really a special one because it's the anniversary edition of the show. Western Spring Television is 2 today. So, drum rolls, yeah. And this is where we say happy birthday to Western Spring Television, to us here, to everyone who is associated, affiliated to this great organization.
Right.
We have done so much for ourselves in this past 2 years.
Yes, we
and
have.
it was crowned with an award last month by the Nigeria Union of Journalists. This is to tell you that we have really
this
done.
This is where you say, Ude.
Thank you so much. You know, we always say thank you, and that's because there is no us rather without you, and really we cannot spell the word us without the letter U. Thank you for being a wonderful companion. Thank you for all that you do, tuning in every time, watching us, and also, giving us, the thumbs up that we need
Connecting
every
to our
time.
social media pages, staying with us, setting your notifications, and of course, staying with us where we say it as it is. You are the MVP.
And this is Evelyn Ohiola, and of course, Femi Ojo is also here. Let's get right to the show. Very first story this morning is, the announcement or the report we hear that we are preparing for diaspora voting because a bill to amend the Nigeria Constitution and provide for diaspora voting during elections has killed second reading in the House of Representatives. So, if this skills another reading, is subjected to debate and what have you, and
after this it is taken, then we taken to a public hearing.
Then that's it. Well, let's see what people are saying at this time. January 27 says, when there is no accountability for irregularities in the elections within Nigeria, it's the one from diaspora we are supposed to trust. Their priorities are always crooked. And you can see the crying emojis there. And Block Chief says diaspora voting is actually increasing the northern voting population through Niger, Chad, North, Southern, and Sahara. We better make diaspora means Europe and America. And Tola Oloshebikan says the National Assembly should urgently consider amending the Electoral Act to permit the electronic collation of results. The IREV portal should be utilized not just for viewing purposes, but also for the actual collation of results. This change will help reduce the risk of fraud during the collation phase of the electoral process. And Umfom Abia at Pretty Umfom says, let our leaders put the right structures in place first and ensure that elections are conducted properly in Nigeria. Then we can talk about diaspora voting, or else it will be doing the same thing and expecting a different result, which is actually the number one law of madness. And we hope that we do not get to that in the country, even though some people believe that Nigeria is already a madhouse as it is. Femi, what do you think? Now, there are people that believe that we don't even have enough voters in Nigeria. There is, voter apathy. There are a lot of people. You and I sometimes don't get the opportunity to go vote on election day. So people believe that we should first work in-house before bringing in those outside, to come vote. Ensure that the security operatives, the media personnel, people that normally they're on duty, that the doctors, nurses, those on essential services, get to vote ahead first, like they do it in other climes. Yes, early voting before we now consider diaspora voting. What do you think? Do you think diaspora voting is the way to go?
I think we can do it if actually we're serious. But the thing is, we must understand the motive of the proponents of this particular bill. Are we old now, 64-year-old country? We are actually. Some African countries are ready.
Kenya did diaspora voting.
But the thing is, I understand the people's skepticism about these because they believe we have a long way to go internally. And you want to act the rigor of having Nigerians outside the country vote as well. Two truths can coexist for me. We can do it here, manage what we have, perfect it to an appreciable level, and then have a chance in other climes, come into the fray as well. Somebody talked about possibly this is to favor the North. Maybe yes, maybe no. There are other Nigerians in other different parts of the country. I mean, on the continent as well. You have many Yorubas in Benin Republic as well. So that counts for something. You have many Southerners in, in Cameroon as well. Some Eastern guys are there as well. I understand that maybe the North has many of their cousins across the border. But then I'm not sure we should see from that. Because if actually we are going to think about who will be the one to gain, then we won't make progress at all.
Yeah.
Let's work on what we have, and then we can have the diaspora voting as well. But then we must build trust with what we have internally, firstly.
Yeah.
If not, whatever we are doing outside of the country is a mirage, and then who will be the one to even coordinate? These are the issues as well. We don't even have embassies in many of these states. Will it be done at the embassies? Will it be done at the foreign but will it be handled by the foreign mission? We need to see all of these as well. But yes, I understand. Can we do it? Yes, we can do it. But we must work on what we have internally. First. Let the people trust what we have, and then we can trust what will be voted, electronically. Or do we carry it for paper? Be these
before we hear that they carried a ballot box in Georgia.
Or somebody's chasing somebody with cutlass somewhere in Ontario.
And if it's going
Canada.
to be online electronic voting, I mean, hope we won't have glitches. It was hacked. These are the issues.
And the national grid will not collapse on the day of the election.
All right, our fingers are crossed as to how this will pan out in the coming months and years. Let's move on to the next story. Now, we know that democracy, they say, is government by the people, for the people, of the people. I mean, if you did government in secondary school, you have access to that definition. There are other definitions, by the way, but that one is so common and is so simple to remember. But it seems democracy now is government by inheritance, of inheritance, and for inheritance. Going back what happened at the National Assembly, where Senator Ali Ndume was making a case for the widow of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah of Anambra South, who passed on in July. Remember that story. Now, Senator Ali Ndume, senator representing Borno South, has appealed to the Senate to support the widow of late Ifeanyi Ubah to replace her husband as the senator representing Anambra South Senatorial District. Ndume made the appeal on Tuesday during the valedictory session organized by the Senate in honor of the late senator. Until his death, Mr. Ubah was the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream. Kano South Senator Kawu Sumaila has since been appointed to replace him. During the valedictory service, Mr. Ndume appealed to his colleagues to ensure that the late Mr. Ubah's widow replaces her husband to continue the senator's legacies. And this did not actually go down well with many Nigerians who believe, yes, we commiserate with the widow and the family of late Senator Ifeanyi Ubah, but this is governance. And this is not an inheritance. This is not a monarchical system where you have, what belongs to the husband given to the wife or given to the son or given to the brother. Although we've had that, in the past. I think somewhere in, is it Enugu or Abia, where a senator, an aspiring lawmaker died, and that was given to his brother. I've forgotten the name now, but I would remember in the course of the show. Let's take reactions at this time. Aduma Adan 6 says, so we are now practicing a hereditary monarchical system of government in the Senate. Is it a family heirloom that needs to be inherited? What exactly is going on in this country? Who deemed her worthy to decide our fate in this country? Are we using sentiments now? Why can't she go through the same process other senators went through, be voted for? Did the people she wants to represent them say they want her? I have so many questions because this is just something else. And underscore Mayor 7X says it's not a thing of competence. It's a family business and they are no longer bothered dishing it out in our faces. And Chief Mali says Mrs. Lagbaja for COAS then. Third world behavior. That's why nothing is moving in the right direction. And lastly, BN Fit One says, you are not begging the Senate to pass the bill to counter food crisis in the country or improve the broken down educational system as a senator, but rather fighting for a former colleague's wife to take the seat that rightfully belongs to the citizen of this country. What do you think, Femi?
2 or 3 things for me. Number one, I think we commiserate with the family of Ifeanyi Ubah, serial business owner, business tycoon, a football club owner. He was the owner of Ifeanyi Ubah FC, right away. And what happened. Life happens to us all, and it is time he has left the track. But then, Ali Ndume speaking out of his sentiment, actually, and he has a right to. Either is moral or justified is another thing. That's his sentiment, actually, and it won't be the first. By the way, you're talking about in the southeast, it's happened here. Ademola Adeleke was a senator at the behest of his brother. Iseke Adeleke died. Then Ademola Adeleke was brought in to complete the term. Okay, there was a voting, but then he was brought in, and after that, he gave a shot at the governorship, thing. And he's
do you think it's because it's coming from a Senator Ali Ndume? It would have been, people would not have taken it with so much rage if it was coming from probably someone from Anambra South.
Yeah, maybe.
Saying,
maybe.
Let's allow.
I think, don't forget, this happened at the valedictory service.
Yeah.
So it was what was discussed, and possibly him thinking, how can he support the family? So he has a right to say that. If he's correct, is another thing. Number two, he's saying the Senate must ensure. The Senate cannot ensure nada, except they are telling us that this is not democracy. No, kuku fold down to away as they are folding it already, because the senators doesn't have a vote. There will be another vote. All the 108 of them remaining cannot vote in that election, so they are not from there. He's only possibly his emotional self, his emotions and sentiment got the better of him by saying, okay, they said the senators must support, maybe logistically, maybe financially, and that is if the woman is willing. This is a grieving woman. Okay, but he speaks to the average mind of a politician that is about the election. It's about the election. I'm not sure the woman is even thinking that. She has just loved the love of her life. She's a mother to children. And I'm not sure she will be processing many things right now. Okay, but then that's how the average mind of a Nigerian politician works. It's about the next election. It's about power. It's about winning. And he is already thinking about the only thing we can use to immortalize this man is to give the ticket to his wife. He doesn't have a say as far as democracy is concerned. Not even Godswill Akpabio has a say. They can have a say politically by influencing how the next person from that village or from that constituency might emerge.
Exactly.
But they don't have a vote there, and that's where it ends, actually. But I understand the people's outrage to say this is just all about, this is what you people think about. It's just, if it's not the man, then it's the woman. Who tells you he's maritally transferable? And these are some, he's not even genetically transferable, but that won't be the first. If a brother can take over another brother's position, why can't a wife take over, the husband position? But these are sentiments. If the people of Anambra are willing to go that route, it will be their choice.
Of course, and talking about a brother taking over, I talked about that case in Enugu, the late Oyibo Chukwu of the Labour Party who died, and the ticket was given to his brother to go ahead.
There's a consensus.
It was a consensus. But then let's move on to the next and final story this morning. Online cruise, mother and son online cruise. Now, this is the case of, a son calling out this present administration. And when I talk about a son, Bashir El-Rufai's son, to former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, saying, taking the side of Obasanjo. This has to do with the Obasanjo presidency issue, the banters and, accusations and counter-accusations. And it kind of took sides with former President Olusegun Obasanjo, saying attacking Obasanjo with the state of the country now has to be a mental illness permeating the whole media communications team. Inflation is at 33% ineffectual clowns. Now, he is talking to the handlers of Mr. President.
Yeah.
Now, his mother, the former First Lady of Kaduna State, replied his tweet and said, "Are you sure you'd be saying this if your father were part of this government?" And he replied, his mom says, "I believe I would actually, because I would believe he would have resigned by now due to the failures. He would want to disassociate with himself, Mama." And with that love image, he has actually deleted that particular post, as you can see on the screen. But people feel, okay, was this a sarcastic comment by the mother? Was this kind of, he are saying this is what people would have said. So are you sure if your father was there? And people believe, is it that they is just pure cruise online, or they are just, people, in fact, some people asked, are we sure the mother and the father are still together, with this kind of comment? But let us take reactions at this time. Oraro says, nobody takes this post seriously. It's all staged.
Yeah.
And Victor AD says, I beg, share the mama and papa day in good terms. People are wondering. And Eso and son of Nkechi says, what if she was being sarcastic with a comment? Think outside the box. And Babangida Ibrahim says, his mom is speaking the truth. If his dad were part of the government, he wouldn't be so loud, because he would be praising Tinubu everywhere and insulting those who oppose the government. Femi, what do you think? Do you think this was pure cruise? Do you think Adiza El Rufai was being sarcastic? And what was this? When I saw it, I was like, Kitulele. That was what came to me.
Did this happen on a family WhatsApp group?
It happened on X.
On X, right?
Yes, on X.
This is a kind of story that either MM Song or Kunle Afolayan or Funke Akindele, any of those movie producers should do. This is cruise. Actually.
It's cruise, pure cruise.
I know what Adiza, the wife, I think that's the first wife of Malam. Actually, she's somebody that, if she's in the mood, she can be a alert, actually. She does clap back. She does basketballs. She takes online lessons, English lessons as well. She has had a go at Ubasani before. She's somebody who sometimes can be humorous and can be anything at any time. Now, for you to know Bashir for what he is, I think that's Bashir, right? Yeah, he's somebody. In fact, the brothers, the El Rufai brothers, they can be very blunt. Most of the times negative, actually. Yes, that's Bashir. Even with Beto, the honorable member, there is a way. But this picture is giving me some kind of, the things look creepy, one kind of, like we are holding a baby. I don't understand. But then, it's just cruise. Take it as a cruise. It is what it is, actually.
All right, we have to go. Thank you for being a part of our world. We can return tomorrow for the last installment of Spring Trends for this week. We got to celebrate. Abby, Femi. All right, my name is Evelyn Ohiola. See you tomorrow.
This is the part we should have been playing. Happy birthday.
We'll play it after. We'll play it after the show. Bye-bye.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered, because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be showing on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190.
to return as it is.
Welcome to the show. Edition of Pertinent Questions, our interview program on Western Spring Television. Agumbelewo Oshobo. Every 12th of August is International Day of the Youth. The United Nations instituted this special day to celebrate the qualities of young people across the globe. It is a day that recognizes the challenges that today's young people can or sometimes do face in life. Equally true is the fact that the celebration of every 12th of August is an opportunity that offers a chance to raise awareness of the need to ensure the engagement and participation of young people in leadership positions and, of course, in leadership matters. This year's International Day of Youth, which is now 1 week behind us, had as its theme for the year 2024, From Clicks to Progress, Youth Digital Pathway for Sustainable Development. I see it as a very encompassing theme for the youth. The world of digitization, of course, we know it as being youth-centered. The youth of the globe have utilized it even from the days of the Arab Spring onto our own challenges here, 2020, where we had the NSAS, and very recently we had a strong challenge to bad governance. It is today one technological innovation which the youth have not only imbibed, but have utilized to the full. I have 1 week after International Day of Youth brought into the studio a young man who will talk to us and face the challenges of the time. Perhaps that should explain to you why today I have dressed like a youth. Yes, when you want to go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. This is a way that young men and women dress these days. And so facing a youth, bringing him into the studio to challenge him on certain aspects of life, I have to do like a youth. So, Mr. Yemi Afis Yusuf, it's my privilege to welcome you to this program today.
Good afternoon, sir. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Good. Youth is that time of life when one can say he's a young man, and this is also a time between childhood and perhaps maturity. That's a broad thing I'm trying to look at. I'm looking at it from that perspective. But you're a young man. So let me begin by asking you, what is your idea about youth?
You see, when you mention the word youth and you want to bring it to reality, you just have to, that's the most important part of your life. Everything you're doing at that time, you have to get it right. Mm-hmm. It is when you have to be mentally sound, you have to be physically strong, and you have to give it your best for the future. Because when you don't get it right when you are in the youthful stage, you will be the one to suffer the consequences later on in your life. When you are a youth, you are really disturbed mentally, physically. Sometimes you're down just because you face a lot of challenges. So that phase in your life is when it is most important and you have to give it your best.
Okay. The United Nations, for the purpose of statistics, says youth are young persons grouped between the ages of 15 and 24. In Nigeria, it is 18 to 9 years. But African Youth Charter it is raised to 35 years. So between 15 and 35, you have a whole lot, about 20 years, to do the programming that you try to mention. What challenges face the young population of which you are a part?
I want to say something about the age statistic you just mentioned. Because in Nigeria, the word youth, I can't just seem to find it in some of our some things we do in Nigeria. Because the age 25 to 35 or that does not apply to us.
Why?
Because we are being segregated, we are being neglected, we are being abandoned. So when you want to talk about youth in Nigeria, like I'm very happy you dressed like this, because a youth leader somewhere is looking exactly like you are right now, with gray hair. You see them. That's the reality we are in this country. The youth are suffering, while those that needs to retire are calling themselves youths. The youths in Nigeria that I know now starts from the age of 40 before you can be considered a youth and at a certain position, be given an appointment.
Why is it so?
Because you people are not ready to accept us.
Okay.
Despite the fact that we are trying, we are trying our best to prove to you people that we are ready for the future. The future is now. Most things you people are doing, we are still the one doing it for you. But you doesn't want to take the back seat and allow us to, be the driver, be at the helm of our affairs, which is not right.
Why do you think so? Why do you think we don't?
There are a lot of instances. You still see us as making mistakes. Like you want to do things the right way, which is so. The right way you have been doing things since 18 1960, from 1960 to now. Tell me that youth that you have allowed to thrive politically, that at the biggest age of life, when that particular age you mentioned, 25. We're not talking about the military.
Okay, I was good to
No, we're not talking about the military, because I know you want to go there. We're not talking about the military. Let's go to the political side, democracy. Woo.
The
Meji, you people know what you plotted for him. Because he brought some things, and before you know it, it was, it's just like a pawn. When you're playing a game of chess, the big guns are at the back. They look at you and they be like, "This, you be the sacrificial lamb." There are a lot of things you have done that you need to just take the back seat and allow us to thrive.
Okay, let me simmer you down. It looks like it is too early in the interview and you're already warmed up.
Because you brought it out.
What did I bring out?
The way you just mentioned it, the age bracket shouldn't be so.
Okay. But I didn't quote myself. I was quoting the United Nations, and I also quoted the African Charter.
When you put something on the paper, and in reality it's not like that, shouldn't be.
African Charter has already been shifted it up, increased the bar to 35.
Yeah.
Why do you think the goalpost must change when the United Nations says youth belong to the ages of 15 to 29? The African Charter says even 35. Why are you a young man changing the goalpost?
Look at the theme for the year celebration. There's this thing we call future. When we talk about future, we talk about things that shape the world. Digitally, we are there. The future we're talking about is now.
Yeah.
And the youth know how to maneuver things using digital method.
Okay.
There are a lot of gadgets now. Phone, for instance, if I give it to you, tell you to do a certain simple thing on it, sometimes you can't.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to call me. You understand? I want to use a Yoruba word. You understand? So we know how to go about
digitally
all these things you're doing digitally that to give us a positive result.
Okay.
Let's use Oshogbo, for instance. Oshogbo, we have a lot of road network, right? but I still haven't seen it. Just tell me one TV station, radio station that has been reporting traffic in Osogbo. We still look at Osogbo as still a very small city, right?
Yeah.
That we don't need that right now. Let me tell you, in days to come, the rain will come. The rain it's already it started today. The rain will come back. And because of the road network, the construction that is going on, a lot of people will find it very difficult to maneuver.
Yeah.
Using technology, using all these digital means to give updates, to tell people this is how you need to plan your day. Rain is going to fall today. Know how to plan your movement. I'm just giving you tips, small things about why we have the future now. Sometimes back then, if you want to talk to your brother, you want to talk to your sister, you have to write a letter, right?
Yeah.
And that letter sometimes might not deliver in months. But right now, within seconds, the person you want to talk to already get what you're trying to say. So we are in the future now.
We agree with you. We are not, anybody who says technology is not the issue is losing track. But tell me what challenges you face as young people, the young population, especially in a developing world like Nigeria.
In Nigeria. You see, I still categorize Nigeria due to the treatment the youth receive as a third world country. Why? Because I used some words earlier. We're being neglected, segregated, and abandoned. We're not being welcomed. If you look at when you want to catch a fish, right? You bait the hook just to get a fish. When those are the helms of affairs now, the government, they want to do anything. They come to us, okay, they want to campaign, they talk to the youth. They know we have that power right now in our hands to do and undo. Look at what just happened recently because of the protest of a thing. They saw what happened at the entrance protest, right? They know if they let these youths come together and do things the way they want, a lot of things will happen and secrets will be let open, because they intentionally put us aside. How many youth, for instance, in Osun State now, we have a speaker of the house. We consider him as youth. What's his age? He's above the age limit, the age bracket you just quoted.
Yeah.
But what is it called? A youth.
It's a youth.
Is that a youth?
Yeah, but I don't think he's up to 40.
The statistics you mentioned, does his age fall within the age bracket?
So what is it? What exactly?
We propose something that, okay, if any government is coming out, give the youths 40% of their appointments. Look at what is happening to the youth sector. The how do I put it? The youths, what's it called? The youth ministry. Look at the sports
ministry.
We youth occupy those places, right? Look at what happened during the last Olympics.
I will come to that.
Because
we'll come to that.
They know that if we are being invested on, a lot of things will change drastically in this country.
But you jumped the gun in a way. But then since you are talking about investment,
I still want to go back
Nigeria invested so much on the Olympic team.
Nigeria did not invest so much.
What did Nigeria do?
If Nigeria invests, will our athletes have to borrow? Will our athletes have to be given a bicycle to ride? Will some of our athletes be there without some of their sports? Yes. Will some of them not be appreciated? Look at what happened to our Golden Eaglets. Look at what happened to our Super Falcons. Do we have a standard national stadium in Nigeria? The one we have in Abuja, what is it being used for? How much is being invested on each athlete, each players in Nigeria? We have series of things that happen when our Super Eagles play for Nigeria. We have had the time they had to sleep at the airport. Nigeria government will abandon them. We have had the time they had to, some of them had to contribute money for them to sleep in hotels. Why?
Well, you see, you have come to this interview program with a mindset. But I'm ready for you. I'm also going to ask you.
If you had told me earlier that I would be on this, we could have brought out some statistics, some facts of things that had happened. That why is it being so?
Okay, never mind. I say, what is the youth? What is your grounds? You have mentioned some of them. What do you want to be done?
There was a time we proposed something to the government. Does the government know the number of graduates in Nigeria?
Well, I'm not part of government. So
No. I'm just trying to. I'm coming to a point.
Yeah.
That's just a question, and that question should be asked. Does the government know the number of graduates each institution produced?
They should know that.
When they know that, they know the course you study. You go for your NYSC, the NCE that they're not going, you understand? They have the statistics. You have the age, certain age people go for their retirement. You know the number of positions that are empty in each government parastatals, in each ministry and all that. Why is it that when there is employment opportunity, you already filled it up? When the potential, when someone with potentials, when someone with the required certificates go for it, they will not get the job. The past governments then, during Jonathan period, do you know how many youths died just trying to secure employment for the NSCDC?
Yes,
Was there an accountability for that? Why should it be so? You will see a youth today being used by you, your position, your power. I'm not you in particular. People of your age. You understand? Just because you are entitled. Just because you want people to give you full support. You understand? You want to be compensated for what you have done. You are given a slot. Your child from nowhere have no prior knowledge of whichever position you want to put it. You just give him the slot and he occupies it. And the youth that are capable for that position have been neglected, have been overlooked, and keep to suffer. Is that right? Your question.
Well, you see, these are your positions. You're entitled to them. But if I must also come to challenge you, I would say the youth population in Nigeria, why have you suddenly become part of the problem rather than the solution?
Let me give you an instance.
Do you agree with me that you are part of the problem?
No.
But
we are solution providers.
We have not seen that yet.
You are seeing it, but you are thinking the words that has been used by you they are not ready. They're lazy. What they bring is unrealistic. Let's start from the recently introduced e-Naira. Have you had anything to do with e-Naira since the introduction of e-Naira?
No.
Ask me if I've done or spent e-Naira.
That's your era.
No, I'm coming up. I'm coming up with something.
Okay, build it up.
The person that introduced it, the youth developed that e-Naira of a thing. But the youth that develop it, you neglect them and you let the old people take front page and be like they're the one that introduced it, ruining all the plans that have been made for the e-Naira to thrive. Look at what the youth have done. For instance, now let's look at all these online paying platforms, all these digital banking, OPay, PalmPay, whatever you have it. The youth introduce what's it called, Bitcoins, all these cryptocurrencies globally. Nigeria don't want that to thrive just because they see the disadvantages of it. No, when you harness something, when you take full advantage of something, you have to be hopeful that this thing is going to work. Whatever the youth proposes, you want to hijack it. If I pitch a contract for you now, right? I don't want to be vulgar because this thing it's has to all
say
Nigerian
your mind. When you are getting close to
understand?
vulgar, I will stop you.
The whole
but I give you the freedom
the
to
whole
say.
act, we hijack that from you, right? And they want to monetize it. Everything now has to do with bribery and corruption.
Because the youth have
Because
also...
I have the idea. No.
The youth have always taken the peanuts that is given to them.
The peanut that is given to them. Let me, okay, you tie me down just because I found a means to escape. I'll be like, okay, let me give you these cheap nuts. Without me, you can't survive. And if I want to survive, you point a gun at me and be like, if you go, I'm going to kill you.
Has it happened to you?
I have no other means to survive. If I want to Japan now, do you know what you have cost me? I have to raise up to 20 million, 25 million naira. If I come to you to give me that, you ask me a question, what have you done for me? And I'm ready to work for my money. I'm ready to work. You're not even giving me the job. The one I'm doing, you're killing me with taxes. The means I want to survive, you're cutting it. Look at what happened in 2020 during the COVID era. A lot of millionaires are made. They were made then. Why? Because they harnessed the usefulness of online, social media, all these social media platforms. The youth, if not for the youth, some old people would have died of hunger. The youth fed those people.
How?
We went all out. That's when people with business have to know that you don't have to rely on government job. You don't have to rely on salary basis before you can make it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but how did the youth come? You said, but for the youth.
Let's look at
the elderly.
Let's look at it this way. A lot of youth comes together and be like, okay, let's donate.
Donate what?
Let's donate money and do an outreach. Do you know how many platforms comes together? How many foundations being run by youth comes together to distribute foods? The palliatives they were given by the government to be distributed to people. Did you get any of it? You as a journalist, there is a portion of it dedicated for you. Did you get it?
I didn't get any.
You didn't get it. So did you ask question who was keeping that? The thing some people get is not from the government, it's from people's pockets. Youth came together, contributed money online, reach out to people in their community, give them food to survive. When you lock us up, then a lot of youth even proposes, have the hand sanitizers you're using then. Before it was being recognized by the, what's it called, the government, that you can use, if you want to go out, you use your mask, you use hand sanitizers. Do you know how people are even able to produce homemade sanitizers?
No, I mean...
through online. People learn it.
Okay.
You don't have to buy, you make it yourself.
Okay.
That's home learning. You make full use of the internet, the social media. You connect with people.
Yes, we have.
You are rising.
We give it to you that the internet belongs to you because it came at a time when you were...
When you want to collect it from us.
Collect what?
The social media.
No. The social media is not a question of collecting from you. It's a question of sanitizing the system.
This is not about sanitizing. You're trying to silence us.
No, it's not a silence. It is an attempt to sanitize. You say sanitize. You see many bloggers, many writers, many contributors are not professional journalists.
The day we had today, when we're talking about anything, you look at the positive and the negative, the advantage and the disadvantages of it. I can confidently tell you that the advantage of all these things supersedes the disadvantages.
Advantage. I agree with you. But that does not mean...
Control is different from you trying to take it off.
No, it's not taking... The government is not taking it. The elderly, we can't even take it off. We don't know much as you do, so we cannot take it off you. But you need and you deserve to be controlled because people sit in their small corner in their home and do whatever it is they like.
In a little way, I agree with that because I also do tell people, that's what I feed on. That's what I
you live on.
Live on. You know, I take full advantage of social media.
Yeah. Again, you see, the Americas that developed to where they are now, they also started from somewhere and were coming gradually. Today, the average Nigerian knows that it is not only government jobs that will pay you. You can go into the social media and make something useful, and you are living. Your cheeks are very, very rosy.
Let me talk about that in a little way. You see, the world now. I always tell people, you cannot see me or find me sitting down in an office, right? From 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 or 4 p.m. You can.
That is gone.
I just don't like it.
That's gone. We who live that life.
But I always preach self-sufficiency, independence. You have to be alone. You can do this on yourself, but by yourself.
These days, there is working from home.
Exactly where I'm driving at. Why will a youth wake up in the morning, you take your phone, browse through all these blogs, all these gist platforms. All you do there is just to go and look at what is happening, laugh, and burn your data when you can make money off it. Why can't you just, as a youth, leave these people, stop following politicians around, asking for peanuts and all that? When you can use the peanut, the little you have, the data in Nigeria is still manageable. Go to some countries. You understand? If you are able to have 1,000 naira in Nigeria as of today, and you are able to use it judiciously, right? You subscribe. There's a lot of things you can do as a student. You can do some drop shipping yourself. You don't have to be the one producing. You don't have to be the one selling.
This
All
is
you
the
do is
message
just to
you
go
need
and
to
copy.
take to your fellow youth.
I'm saying it right now. To all you see, I call some people data boys, especially in Osun. All they do is just to follow all these politicians around.
That is
go to
why
social media.
it was said that the Nigerian youth is lazy
We are
and
not lazy.
non-patriotic,
We are not lazy.
docile.
We are not lazy. We are
Okay,
not
what's
lazy.
your reaction
A
to it?
section.
Oh, yes.
You can't group us together. No.
You
A
can't group
section.
all the politicians also together. You can't group all of us in
But all of them are
se-
proven to be the same.
How?
You have to, if you pack 100 politicians in a place today, okay, look at what happened to this senator from the north. He was trying to tell us what they are gaining and what they are earning, all of that. Well, he was told to go and rest. You understand? But the youth now, we know the right from wrong. The ones that are ready to do it, we are preaching it to the others that you can abandon these people. Join us. Let's make this money together. Come to social media, take full advantage of it. As a student, you don't have to call home every day that you need this, you need that. You can take advantage of social media. A lot of people at home that are not educated. A lot of your mates find it difficult to learn. You can be a tutor yourself. You can go a step ahead. See, while I was in the university, early 2000, right? Till late 2000, there's something even before the social media of a thing. Let me give you an example. We went on a strike then internally in my school because there was a riot and went for 4 months. But the second month into that, I figured I was lonely. I couldn't talk to some of my mates. WhatsApp is just coming up, becoming popular and all that. What can I do? I went on Facebook and created a school page for my school. Before you know it, people started joining. And we're able to connect. Right now, the people on that platform is over 120,000 what's it called, alumni and
okay,
still
that
normal
is
students.
the positive side.
We are preaching. You can walk, you can hand, you can disseminate information, you can send out the positive things. I'm calling on all these content creators in Osun. You're making use of social media. You're earning your money through internet. Do the positive one. Neglect the negative one that will affect people. All of us want to be a blogger. All of us want to be a reporter, journalist. But do you study it.
Okay.
Do you learn this thing?
This is what we
you
are
just
saying.
came about running skit up and down.
Okay.
Do you know the health status of the person you're going to prank? These are not to be allowed.
But you young men, you do it. But
that's
we
the
will,
negative side of it, that
come,
we are calling people to pick.
Okay, thank you very much for
we're
that.
We're begging the government to look into that.
We would be coming back. This presentation is always in two parts. We will break off and come back later. I have been speaking with a young man in the studio who is charging so very much. Yemi Afiz Yusuf belongs to the youth class, and he is stoutly defending the youth, even though some elderly ones think the youth are not being patriotic enough, and some of them think they are being lazy. But the fact is very germane. The ordinary youth is so much dependent on the politician that it is not helping. We'll come back on part 2 to resume the conversation. Please don't go away. Just keep on watching us.
Sadly, in Nigeria, we have less than 50 lions left in the wild. And these are set for bushmeat. So please, do your bit to remain wild. Say no to illegal bushmeat, because poaching steals from us all.
James Ajibolaige was a lawyer who obtained his first degree in classics from Nigeria's Premier University of Ibadan. Born September 15, 1930, the orator and the polyglot spoke impeccable English, French, Igbo, Hausa, and Yoruba languages. His fine diction placed him among classical orators and public speakers like Cicero, the Roman orator. This attribute earned him the prefix Cicero of Esauke. He authored the Kaduna Boy and an autobiography, the Teenage Diary, Constitution, and the People, among 6 other books. Bolaige was a colorful politician, elected governor of Oyo State in 1979 and appointed a federal minister in 1999. He was a pioneer founder of Afenifere, the Yoruba social, cultural, and political group. He invested his political sagacity to propel the group to the height of political leadership and decision-making in the southwest of Nigeria. Bolaige was assassinated on the 23rd December 2001. His murderers are yet to be apprehended till today. Western Spring Television identifies Bolaige as a watershed character in history.
Welcome to the program Questions on Western Spring Television. Before we broke up to make it up again, I was chatting with Mr. Yemi Afiz Yusuf, a young man who ekes out a living from the internet. He has been so strong in his position that one finds it, sometimes you allow him to say his mind because he speaks for the youth. But then the youth also have their challenges. Soyinka, the great man himself, once called the 70 to 90-year-old as a wasted generation. That is in tandem with what you have not said but imply. The youth of this world, of our country, are they seriously ready? Can they be depended upon? I ask that question because I'll build up.
Actually, we can.
Mm-hmm.
If you're given the opportunity, we can be dependent on. And if you look at it, nowadays, before you can call yourself a leader, you have to look at the home you come from. How responsible are you? If you can build a perfect home, I'm married, I have a daughter, how responsible am I to my wife, my daughter? How responsible am I in my immediate community, my street? From street to local government, from local government to states, how responsible am I? That is the question. If I am able to run my home efficiently and there is no complaint, I'm ready to take on. Because I believe if you can live peacefully with your wife, your children, your immediate community, those people around you, and you have the knowledge of what you are to do by being guided, not being controlled, by being helped, by being advised, I can do better. If you coming into the station, aside from the director, the owner, right? Percentage of people that work there are youths. The only thing I can say the director is doing here is just to give them directives, do it like this, do it like this. He's not being present everywhere. Is he around now? He just give directives that do it this way, do it this way, and he let them do it. If you allow us to do this thing, we are ready. You call us lazy, you call us not ready. When some of us are ready to do this thing and you're not ready to help us, are we not going to abandon you and leave you to it? It's coming to a time that we'll get tired of you and things will take its course.
Okay. Well, where you have not gone, I can imagine. But then, why have some of we the elders, we say some of the things we say because our youth have lost touch with the value system. The values have changed. These days, many of you don't want to work. Hard work is not part of you. Integrity is not there. So you can't run away from this fact. Some of your young men, people like you, or your age mates, some are lazy, some don't have integrity, their value system have changed. All they want is not to work, but to earn money. You cannot earn money without work.
Actually, what you call hard work, then is soft work now.
Whatever it is.
You call hard work going to the farm with a hoe and cutlass. I'm giving you, I'm coming over. What you call hard work is give me a cutlass and a hoe.
No,
and you tell me to go to the farm. I'm trying to paint a scenario.
All right,
here.
Paint. Let me watch you paint.
Right? You tell me to go to the farm and cut the grass, just to weed the grass with the hoe, cut with the cutlass, right? And you want me to plant. When I can do mechanized farming, what you're going to cut or weed in hours, if you give me a tractor today, I can do it in minutes. And I use that opportunity to do what I want to do. You call me lazy for that. You tell me to do something for you. I look at the easiest way for me to do it. I do it. You call me lazy for that. How is that laziness to you? Let me give you statistics. Look at the number of those people that japa to UK. Let's take UK and Canada, for example. Look at the number of Nigerian graduates. The ones that came out with first class, with very good grades, right? The countries with high numbers of good graduates is Nigeria. Are we lazy? Is a lazy person like going to read and understand and write exam with strict supervision? Is that laziness? Is laziness me waking up, looking at the easiest way for me to make money, and I'm making it the right way, not illegally? And you call that laziness?
When it is illegitimate.
There's this Yoruba saying that Boshe wa niliki, lower adibwaja. It is present in your olden days. Some of you are lazy. That's why some people among us have poor parents. Sorry to use that word, poor parent, right? Now you're calling us corrupt. You're calling us unscrupulous. You're calling us names that we don't have integrity. Why some of you, even till today, the integrity you have, the only thing you have to your name, to yourself, right, is the money you have. And that money, if you look at it, is it clean? Whose money is it? Which politician around the world is bold enough to buy a Mercedes Maybach, to buy a Lamborghini, a Ferrari? Which business are you doing? Except being a politician. Do you have a business in Nigeria? Now you call us name. Me, that I'm still trying to, I'm not even halfway to making that millions as I want it. You will be listening out and you are calling me names.
Yeah, not only names.
Can you come out to defend what you're calling me? If we are to dig down, are you safe? We're not saying the bad ones, the bad eggs are not present. We have them ready to even reap from you if you give them the chance. That's why we're calling for not total ban, not fully controlled. We have something called ethics. We have something called how do I use that word? When you are not fully controlling something, but you can tell people, if you do this, if you do this, you will be arrested for it. If you do this, there will be a penalty for it. People will desist from doing the wrong thing. Social media, the use of social, Baba Tinubu said something the other time. He said, I don't go to the social media again because people abuse the hell out of me. You understand? When you see people trying to incite youth to do the wrong thing, that is very wrong. When you are being arrested for a job, you should be dealt with and face the law, right? When you do something that is against the law, you should pay for it. Which is why if you give a social media regulation, right? The internet regulation, there are things you can do. You don't have to be controlled. You can be monitored, right?
You see, you have turned it into control. What government wants to do is not essentially control, but sanitize.
What happened back then during Baba Buhari that they said Twitter is not paying, is not meeting up with the Nigerian demand, and so Twitter was kind of
blocked.
Twitter was blocked, right? But what did Nigerians do? We're able to use it.
Yes.
That's to tell you that we know what to do when it comes to all these things.
We cannot take that from you. The social media, you were born into it, or it came to meet you when you were.
That.
Yes,
I'm
we
very
know
glad
it.
you know that.
But we are saying that there must be some measure of control. It's not, just don't allow you to do whatever you like, because the 50-60% negativity will affect, even if it is 10%.
Why there is policing system is that when there's criminal activity somewhere, they have to be there for it not to escalate. If there is a robbery, they have to be there. If there is a riot, something chaotic, they have to be there. The police are not following me around 247 to know what I'm doing, to know if I'm corrupt, to know if I'm doing bad things, to know if I have free movement.
But when they have cause to suspect you,
when they have cause to suspect me, right, they still have to go through process.
Yes.
You just don't hold me, right, from being free, from doing what I like, from being monitored 247. It's just you, like you putting me in a house with CCTV camera 24/7 without having the free movement.
Sometimes the Nigerian factor comes in. It is not government that ensures this. Sometimes overzealousness in some of our security officials contribute to this. The average policeman or security man thinks he has control of on you, and so doesn't mind how hard he handles you. That's not the issue. You see, for now, it is also known that the average Nigerian, all he is interested in is glamour, entertainment, money, no serious job. He wants. We are not saying entertainment is not a serious job, but we are saying all of you cannot entertain us. All of you cannot follow us. You have a little boy, your girl, by the time he grows up and gets to 10, ask her what she wants to do. She might surprise you. Everybody wants to be this, he wants to be that. But you have forgotten that before he became the superstar that he is, he went through the mill. Many of you don't want to go through the mill.
Back then, I could remember very well, in the early 90s, my dad, we have a farm there. You know, when we came back from the north, he came to settle down here. We have a farm at Abere. For if anybody know Abere, there's no Abere then. It used to be farm. The Alabere of Abere Palace used to be at the left-hand side of the road like this. The farm was back of that place. We have a farm. And I remember him always playing this music. This will be music. Also, Funwa, Nipa Ishe Agbe, Kebi Mapawa, Enyiwa Ola. Nigeria was thriving on agriculture back then. We later moved to oil production, right? Now, the future is there. We have a lot of things that's giving us the future we want. There will be a time they all we depending on will dry up, right? Now, you are telling us that we trying to look at other means to generate money is not good. Entertainment is not something that it's giving us the money we want. Nigeria is glamorous.
Don't get us wrong.
Don't get us wrong. When I'm answering your questions, I like to bring out some things for you to know that it's not as the way you're painting it. Nigerian youths are looking into different ways to break money. Then it used to be that if you want to, you have to wait for months before it can reach you, and you have to go through a lot of people that import these goods. Now you can do it yourself. At the corner of your home, my wife is a nurse, a registered nurse. She used to work in a big company in Ogun State before she relocated to Osun. She was seeking employment in some of our state hospital or private hospital. She was being offered meager amounts of salary with workload that is that will be so exhaustive over time. Now, what is she into now? We look at it, what can we do? Look at Osun State, for instance. What are people not tapping into? If you go to Igbono every Tuesday, you see people bringing their wares and all that. Jewelry is not common for people to import it. Why can't you just do that? And we're doing it. She's okay now. If you talk about she being employed now, she will not even give you a listening.
That is what we are saying.
We're looking at entertainment, Nigerian being glamorous and all these things. If you listen to Obe back then, if you listen to Barrister back then, if you listen to Kollington back then, the people he was praising, the people that sprayed them, are they ghosts? The money they are spending, where are they getting it from? They are spending their own money. Yeah. If you make money and we spend from you, you say, we are, okay, like the video used to say, we rise by lifting each other. You don't mind my being funny on this question, right? I'm just trying to tell you that while you're spending, someone is earning.
Yeah.
That's the circle of economy, right? When you're spending, someone is earning. Now, if you're not being glamorous, we're not entertaining ourselves. We used to say that Nigerians are the most, we are suffering and smiling. If not for some of these things that we watch, that we do, depression could have taken over a lot of people.
Okay, we are told we have to go back. Cultism, violence, rampant amongst the youth. One word on this, and then you tell.
You see, I always tell people what is the life you're living that you live in fear? What is the life that you're living that you cannot boast of tomorrow? What's the life you're living that you have to shed blood? No, that's not what cultism should be. You don't even have to be involved in all these things. The people that introduce confraternity into our institution, that's not what they introduce it for. The likes of Babawole Soyinka that came out with all these buccaneers of a thing, He said it the other time. He said, we want to use this for struggles, student struggles. I was talking to your friend the other day, and he told us how they were able to turn the death of one of their mates back then at the UI. That used to be with riot, and they would close down their school and all that. But when they were able to turn things around, there is no bloodshed. In our institution, not even in our institution, our primary school, secondary school, let this thing start from parents. When you're being responsible, you are answerable to your children. You watch their movement and all this. Parents are becoming neglective. Please, youth out there, use your time judiciously. Leave this politician alone. Stop being a yes boy, a data boy, go to feed boy. Be yourself. Take advantage of the social media, the internet. You can live and you can thrive with that. God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yemi Hafiz.
Thank you, sir.
Yusuf. If I think you, even though you were told very late, you were fully prepared for this. You wanted to vent the youth anger on the adult. But then whether you like it or not, the fact is true that you are the leaders of tomorrow, and that tomorrow begins from now. But you must also be shaped into proper positioning so that you can. So both the old and the young, we need ourselves.
Yes.
We need ourselves, and we must work together. And you must be ready to be groomed. Don't think you have the youth. I'm talking to you all. Don't think you have a university degree at the master's and so you have arrived. You haven't arrived. It takes some time. That has been our package for today. I have been speaking with a young man who is earning a living by himself without anything but legitimately using the internet to do what he wants to do. Well, many of us can follow suit. You don't have to wait for government, because government cannot do everything alone. That's our package. I am Adeto Iseshitu Alamo. I thank you very much for finding time to listen to us. And when I come next week, I'm not likely to dress like this, because this is for the opportunity of meeting the young. The young shall grow. Okay. Goodbye to you all. Thank you for watching. So long.
Ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan ní àwọn oúnjẹ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bí wọ́n ti wuyì lójú bẹ́ẹ̀ ni wọ́n sì kún fún adùn àti ìtẹ́lọ́rùn tí kò lẹ́gbẹ́ pàápàá nígbà tí ọbẹ̀ tó dọ́ṣọ̀ pẹ̀lú ẹran oríṣiríṣi àti àwọn ẹja bá ń ṣe alábàárìn àwọn oúnjẹ òkèlè bíi ẹ̀bà àbí iyán funfun lẹ́lẹ́ ẹ ó máa gbọ́ àwọn ìpèdè bíi iyán lóúnjẹ ọkà lóògùn àìrí rárá là ń jẹ̀kọ kẹnu ó mọ̀dílẹ̀ ní ti gúgúrú. Ètò akọ́mọlédè ló ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán WSTV ìkànnì 150 channel 190 lórí StarTimes. Yorùbá dùn púpọ̀, Yorùbá ò lè kú, Yorùbá ò lè parun, tiwa làṣà, tiwa lèdè, tiwa nìṣẹ̀ṣe akọ́mọlédè. Ìlú Abẹ́òkúta gẹ́gẹ́ bí orúkọ rẹ̀ ìlú tí a tẹ̀dó sábẹ́ Olúmọ ó jẹ́ ibùgbé àwọn ẹ̀yà Ẹ̀gbá àti Òwu tó jìjàǹgbara lọ́wọ́ Aláàfin Ọ̀yọ́ àtijọ́ láàrin ọdún 1775 sí 1780 ní akọni Lísàbí Àgbòǹgbò Àkàlà léwájú wọn láti dáwọ́ sísan ìṣákọ́lẹ̀ fún Aláàfin dúró ìdí nìyí tí àwọn ọmọ Abẹ́òkúta ní ọmọ Ẹ̀gbá mọ Lísàbí Àlá Abẹ́òkúta jọ̀lálẹ́ ọ̀pọ̀ àbò aláwọ̀ fún ló fi bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìlú lásìkò ìjọba amúnisìn ṣe àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ní St Peters tó wà ní Aké ilé ìwòsàn àkọ́kọ́ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà Sacred Heart wà lóyìnbá bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni Òkè Olúmọ wà lójú ilé fírí gbogbo ìlú Abẹ́òkúta ní orí òkè náà àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n àti obìnrin àwọn ìgbọ́n Wọlé Ṣóyínká ọ̀jìnmí akọni obìnrin ní Fúnmiláyọ̀ Ransom Kuti ọ̀pọ̀ àwọn míì iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ àti àdìrẹ níṣẹ́ tó gbayì nílùú Abẹ́òkúta Ẹ̀gbá ṣàbí.
ọ̀rẹ́ má dìbò yìí ṣètò ìkalẹ̀ lálẹ́ ìjẹ́ ló fi ṣe òdiwọ̀n ìdílé wọn. Òtítọ́ ọbẹ̀ ni pé kò sí ìdílé kan tí ò ní pèníjà àti ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni la fi ń tún ẹni ṣe. ìyàtọ̀ oníkálukú sí ìpínlẹ̀ náà ìdílé yóò sọ bí ìdílé ṣe ń dúró. ká finúkonú ká fi kùnlùkùn pẹ̀lú àwọn lọ́kọláya lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan lórí ètò níbẹ̀ lọ́mọ Afọlábí ó ti mọ tàkó tó béèrè sí wọn láláì fi kan pé méjì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ tó ń dá òwò sílẹ̀ nínú ìdílé. bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn àlejò náà yóò mọ jẹ́ ká mọ ọ̀nà tí wọ́n gbé àti lóòtọ́ yìí ní ọjọ́ àbámẹ́ta yóò sì tún máa wá láàrin ọ̀sẹ̀ ní àwòrán Waterspring Television ìkànnì 150 lórí StarTime. Bẹ́bírò tọ̀sẹ̀ yìí ó máa yàtọ̀ ní kò ní yàtọ̀ fọ́.
As it is.
Ètò yìí tún ti dé o. Ètò ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò ló tún gorí afẹ́fẹ́. Tọmọdé tàgbà ẹ súnmọ́ bí ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ sọ. Adéyẹmí Ọlábọ̀dé ló sọ wípé ohun abádìjọ́rò gígùn nígùn.
ẹ ṣeun gbogbo ẹ̀yin honorable wa ibikíbi tẹ́ bá ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa agbègbè yòówù tẹ́ bá wà tẹ́ bá ti ń wò wá kí yín o ẹ káàbọ̀ sílé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò ló máa ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti ìkànnì Western Spring Television ìkànnì 150 channel 190 lórí StarTimes DTT ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń wò wá lórí móhùnmáwòrán lẹ́lẹ̀ mọ́ wò wá lórí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára ní orí YouTube ẹ ṣáà ti tẹ Western Spring Television ẹ mọ́ gbàgbé gbogbo aago 3 ọ̀sán ọjọ́ ẹtì níṣòkò tó mọ́ ń túya gbaníṣólóde nínú ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò àsìkò yìí ní gbogbo ẹ̀yin honorable máa ń kópa ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nú ilé ẹ̀yin náà honorable ní nídìí móhùnmáwòrán yín àbídìí fóònù yín tẹ́ wà ń àbídìí ẹ̀rọ ayélujára ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nídìí móhùnmáwòrán yín honorable ní ẹ mọ́ gbàgbé àwọn tó wà nú kulu pẹ̀lú mi tá a jọ ń wòra wa sójú honorable náà ni wọ́n nínú ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a mọ̀ gbé kalẹ̀ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tá a mọ̀ sọ àwọn èrò wa àwọn ìwòye àti àwọn àbá tá a mọ̀ dá kò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe àfihàn wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹni tí ò ní ìkóra ẹni ní ìjánu ẹ jẹ́ á tẹ̀lé lànà ìkóra ẹni ní ìjánu ẹ jẹ́ á tẹ̀lé àwọn òfin tó rọ̀ mọ́ ìjókòó ilé yìí a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ ọ̀rọ̀ àlùfàǹsá a gbọ́dọ̀ sọ ọ̀rọ̀ tó lè dá họ́wùhọ́wù sílẹ̀ tàbí lọ́rùn iwájú pọ̀ mọ́ ti pàkọ́ nínú ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ tó bá ṣúyọ lẹ́ka ọrọ̀ ajé lẹ́ka ètò ààbò lẹ́ka iṣẹ́ ọ̀gbìn lẹ́ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́ lẹ́ka ètò ìlera àti àwọn ẹ̀ka lónìrànràn lájọ máa ń gbéyẹ̀wò nínú ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò ohun tí ó ṣe wá láǹfààní ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ mọ́ gbàgbé yàtọ̀ sí ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò tẹ́ ń wò lọ́wọ́ ní aago 3 sí aago 4 ìrọ̀lẹ́ kù ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀ ní gbogbo ọjọ́ ẹtì ẹ tún lè máa darapọ̀ mọ́ wa fún àtúntẹ̀ tó bá di alẹ́ ọjọ́ ajé láti lè mọ nǹkan tí a gbé ṣe ní ọjọ́ ẹtì ẹ ṣeun ẹ̀yin honorable wa tẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní ìjókòó ilé ìgbìmọ̀ àjọrò tòní èmi tí mo jẹ́ abẹnugan ní right honorable Adéyẹmí